Most parents don't realize that a baby's brain grows faster in the first 3 years of life than at any other time they will ever experience again. Every sound you make, every object they touch, every little game you play actually wires billions of neural pathways that shape their intelligence for the rest of their life. But here's the part no one tells you. Babies don't need complicated activities or expensive toys. Their brains grow best through simple, joyful interactions that feel like play to you and magic to them. And the reason why these simple interactions are so powerful is because your baby's brain is wired to learn through connection, repetition, and joy, not through screens or structured lessons or expensive educational programs. In these early years, their brain is building the foundation for every skill they'll ever have: language, problem solving, emotional regulation, creativity, memory, and it's doing this work through the everyday moments you share together. Most parents think they need special equipment, baby classes, or complex activities to help their child's brain develop. But the truth is, the most powerful brain building happens in the ordinary interactions that don't cost anything and don't require preparation. These small moments, repeated often, are the seeds of a genius-level mind. The problem is that modern parenting culture has convinced parents that brain development requires special products, structured programs, and constant stimulation, when what babies actually need is your presence, your voice, your face, and simple opportunities to explore their world with you as their guide. The activities that build the strongest, most capable brains aren't complicated or expensive. They're things you can do right now, today, with items you already have in your home. And when you understand how each simple game or interaction is literally building your baby's brain, those ordinary moments become extraordinary opportunities to give your child the best possible start in life. Hi, I'm Helen Hoffman from My Daily Family, and in this video we'll talk about 10 simple activities that wire your baby's brain for intelligence, creativity, and success. Number 1. The mirror game building self-awareness. One of the most fascinating developments in your baby's first year is the slow realization that they are a separate person, that they have a face and body, and that they can control their expressions and movements. This self-awareness is the foundation for everything that comes later: understanding emotions, developing empathy, learning to regulate behavior. The mirror game is one of the simplest ways to accelerate this development. Sit with your baby in front of a mirror and make faces stick out your tongue. Open your mouth wide, smile big, raise your eyebrows. Watch as they study your reflection, then their own, and eventually start trying to copy what you're doing. What looks like simple play is actually wiring neural pathways for self-recognition, emotional reading, and what scientists call neural mirroring, the ability to understand what others are thinking and feeling by watching their faces and body language. Imagine trying to learn a new dance without ever seeing yourself in a mirror. You'd have no idea if your movements matched what you intended or how you looked to others. The mirror gives you feedback that helps you adjust and improve. That's what happens in your baby's brain during mirror play. They're learning to connect the face they see in the mirror with the feelings they have inside, to match their expressions with emotions, and to understand that other people have faces and feelings too. This might seem like just a fun game, but it's actually building the foundation for social intelligence, emotional regulation, and the ability to read people's emotions later in life. So from now on, I want you to make mirror time a regular part of your day. Sit with your baby in front of any mirror, a bathroom mirror, a handheld mirror, even the reflective surface of a phone, and play with expressions. Make happy faces, surprised faces, silly faces. Point to your nose in the mirror, then touch their nose. Say, "That's you. I see you," as they study their reflection. As they get older, you'll notice them starting to recognize themselves, reaching for their own reflection, and even making faces deliberately to watch themselves in the mirror. All of this is brain development happening in real time, building the neural architecture for self-awareness and social understanding. Number 2, treasure basket exploration, wiring sensory intelligence. Babies learn about the world primarily through their senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, sound. Every time they grasp a new texture, shake something that makes noise, or explore an object with their mouth, they're building sensory processing pathways in their brain that will affect everything from how they learn to read to how they handle new experiences. A treasure basket is one of the most powerful tools for sensory development, and it's incredibly simple to create. Fill a basket or container with safe household objects that offer different sensory experiences. A wooden spoon, a metal measuring cup, a soft cloth, a silicone spatula, a small cardboard box, a natural sponge, a smooth stone. Let your baby explore freely, touching, shaking, mouthing, and manipulating each object without you directing or teaching. This open-ended exploration wires their brain for curiosity, problem-solving, and the ability to make sense of sensory information. To help you understand, picture trying to learn about the world only through books and lectures, never touching anything real. You'd have knowledge, but you wouldn't truly understand how things feel, weigh, sound, or move. That tactile, hands-on experience is essential for deep learning, and that's exactly what treasure basket exploration provides. When your baby picks up the metal cup and discovers it's cold and heavy, then switches to the cloth and realizes it's soft and light, their brain is categorizing information, building memory, and learning cause and effect. When they shake the spoon and it makes a sound, then try the same motion with the sponge and it doesn't, they're learning about physics and prediction. All of this happens naturally through play, without any instruction needed. So here's exactly how you do this. Gather 10 to 15 safe household items with varied textures, weights, temperatures, and sounds. Avoid plastic toys, choose natural materials like wood, metal, fabric, and stone. Place them in a basket and set your baby down with the basket within reach. Then step back and let them explore without interruption. Don't narrate what they're doing or hand them objects. Let them choose, discover, and investigate at their own pace. Refresh the basket every week or two with different objects to keep their interest and provide new sensory experiences. This simple activity, done regularly, builds sensory intelligence, focus, problem-solving skills, and the foundation for scientific thinking. And by the way, if you want to build an unshakable intellectual foundation that prepares your child for lifelong success, then you definitely need to check out our sponsor's reading program called Phonics Foundations by Children Learning Reading. The reason why is because it not only teaches phonics-based reading mastery, but also develops the cognitive architecture that creates genius-level learners, making your child intellectually superior without the trial and error approach that wastes precious developmental years. When you're able to wire your child's brain for excellence through systematic phonics instruction, you can easily raise a child who doesn't just memorize information, but truly understands and applies knowledge like a genius. So please check the link in the description below. This could finally be the program that gives your child the intellectual tools and reading mastery they need to succeed in school, career, and every area of life they pursue. Number 3, the name everything habit, creating a language explosion. Your baby's brain is a language learning machine in the first 3 years, absorbing vocabulary at an incredible rate even before they can speak a single word. Every word they hear is building neural pathways in the language centers of their brain, creating a foundation that will determine how easily they learn to read, express themselves, and understand complex ideas later on. The name everything habit is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to accelerate language development. Every time you hand your baby something, look at something together, or do an activity, name it aloud, clearly and simply. Cup, water, blue ball, soft blanket, warm bottle. You're not testing them or expecting them to repeat the words. You're simply flooding their brain with vocabulary that's building connections even when you can't see the results yet. In simple terms, it's like planting seeds in a garden. For months, you see nothing above the soil, but underground, roots are growing and spreading. Then suddenly, shoots appear and the garden explodes with growth. That's how language development works. For the first year or more, your baby is absorbing thousands of words without producing many themselves. But their brain is categorizing, storing, as of hearing you name the world around them. Babies who hear rich, varied language early develop larger vocabularies, better reading skills, and stronger communication abilities throughout their entire life. So, the next time you're with your baby, I want you to narrate your world constantly. When you're changing their diaper, say the names of things: diaper, wipes, clean, dry. When you're feeding them, name the foods: banana, sweet, yellow. When you're walking outside, point and name everything you see: tree, bird, car, cloud. Don't worry about full sentences or teaching grammar, just clear, simple words repeated often. The more words your baby hears, the stronger their language foundation becomes, and this investment pays off enormously when they start speaking, reading, and expressing complex thoughts. Number 4. Peekaboo variations mastering object permanence. Peekaboo seems like just a silly game that makes babies laugh, but it's actually teaching one of the most important cognitive concepts they'll ever learn: object permanence, the understanding that things continue to exist even when you can't see them. In the early months, when something disappears from your baby's view, they genuinely believe it's gone. Their brain hasn't developed the ability to hold mental images of things that aren't visible. Peekaboo teaches this skill by showing them over and over that when you disappear behind your hands or a blanket, you still exist and you come back. This builds memory, prediction, logic, and the foundation for understanding that the world is stable and predictable even when parts of it are temporarily out of sight. It's a lot like learning that the sun still exists at night, even though you can't see it. At first, that concept feels impossible. But once you understand it, your entire model of how the world works becomes more sophisticated. That's what object permanence does for babies. Once they grasp that things continue to exist when hidden, they can start to understand more complex ideas that you still exist when you leave the room, that their toy is under the blanket, that actions have consequences they can't always see immediately. This cognitive leap is essential for problem solving, planning, and all the higher level thinking that comes later. So here's how you use this in real life. Play peekaboo in as many variations as you can think of. Hide behind a blanket and pop out. Step behind a door and peek around the corner. Cover your face with your hands and reveal yourself. Hide a toy under a cloth and let them pull it off to find it. As they get older, make it more challenging. Hide yourself in different places. Have them hide while you search for them. Play hiding games with objects they love. Each variation builds different aspects of memory and logic, and the delight they show when you reappear reinforces the learning. This isn't just entertainment, it's building the neural pathways for understanding that the world is continuous and predictable, which is the foundation for all logical thinking. Number 5. Music and rhythm time synchronizing the brain. Music isn't just pleasant sounds for babies, it's one of the most powerful tools for brain development that exists. When babies hear music, feel rhythm, and try to move or clap along, they're activating both hemispheres of their brains simultaneously, building connections between areas that control language, movement, emotion, and memory. Research shows that musical training in early childhood strengthens mathematical reasoning, language development, and even social skills. But you don't need formal lessons or expensive instruments. Simple rhythm games at home are enough to give your baby's brain this incredible developmental boost. To make it simple, imagine your brain as two separate teams that need to learn to work together. Music is like a coach that teaches both teams to coordinate their actions perfectly, and the more they practice, the better they get at working in sync. That synchronized brain function shows up later as better reading ability, stronger focus, improved coordination, and enhanced problem solving. When babies clap to a rhythm, sing along to songs, or bang on pots like drums, they're not just having fun, they're literally wiring their brain for more efficient, coordinated thinking. So when your child is around, I want you to make rhythm and music a daily experience. Clap a simple pattern and encourage them to clap back even if they can't match it perfectly. They're learning to listen and try. Sing songs with hand motions like Itsy Bitsy Spider or The Wheels on the Bus. Give them safe objects to bang together wooden spoons on a pot, plastic containers, maracas made from a bottle with rice inside. Play music and bounce them to the beat, or hold their hands and help them clap along. The more exposure they have to rhythm and music, the more their brain builds these critical cross-hemisphere connections that support every type of learning. Number 6, the crawl obstacle course, boosting IQ through movement. Most parents think of crawling as just a phase before walking, but it's actually one of the most important developmental stages for building brain power. When babies crawl, they're using cross-lateral movement. The right arm and left leg move together, then the left arm and right leg. This bilateral coordination strengthens the connection between the two hemispheres of the brain, which is absolutely critical for reading, focus, handwriting, and all higher-level learning later on. Creating a simple obstacle course that encourages your baby to crawl over, under, and around objects supercharges this development by making them problem solve while moving, which builds even more neural pathways. It's kind of like the difference between walking on a flat sidewalk and hiking up a mountain trail. Both involve walking, but the trail requires coordination, balance, planning, and constant adjustment, which makes your body and brain work harder and get stronger. That's what an obstacle course does for crawling babies. Instead of just moving across a flat floor, they have to figure out how to crawl over a pillow, squeeze under a chair, or navigate around a box. Each challenge builds spatial reasoning, problem solving, and that crucial bilateral coordination that will make reading and learning so much easier years from now. So let's make this practical for you. Once your baby is crawling confidently, create simple obstacle courses using pillows, cushions, cardboard boxes, and safe household furniture. Make a path where they have to crawl over a pillow pile, under a low table, around a laundry basket. Change the configuration every few days to keep it interesting and challenging. You can get down on the floor and crawl through it first to show them the way, then let them follow. Make it playful and encouraging. The goal isn't to frustrate them, but to give their brain the gift of problem solving through movement. This activity takes 5 minutes, but provides enormous developmental benefits that will pay off for years. Number 7, reading with exaggerated expression, building story intelligence. Reading to your baby is one of the most valuable activities you can do, but the way you read matters just as much as how often you read. When you read in a flat, monotone voice, your baby's brain is getting words, but it's missing out on so much more. When you read with exaggerated expression, using different voices for characters, changing your tone to match the emotions, pausing for effect, showing excitement or sadness or surprise, with your face and voice, you're building auditory processing, emotional understanding, and imagination all at once. Your baby's brain is learning that voices carry meaning beyond words, that stories have emotional arcs, and that language can create entire worlds. The best way to understand this is to imagine watching a movie with no music, no sound effects, and all the actors speaking in monotone. You'd follow the plot, but you'd miss the emotional impact, the tension, the joy. That's what flat reading does for babies. But when you read with passion and expression, you're giving their brain a rich, multi-layered experience that teaches them so much more than vocabulary. They're learning to recognize emotions in tone of voice, to predict what happens next based on how you're building suspense, to understand that stories have structure and meaning. This foundation makes them better listeners, more empathetic people, and stronger readers later because their brain learned early that language is rich, emotional, and powerful. So here's what this looks like. When you read to your baby, don't just say the words, perform them. If the character is scared, make your voice shake a little. If something exciting happens, speed up and raise your voice. If the story is sad, slow down and soften your tone. Use pauses to build anticipation. Make faces that match the emotions in the story. Even before your baby understands every word, their brain is absorbing the patterns, the emotional cues, and the rhythm of storytelling. Read the same books over and over. Repetition builds strong neural pathways, and babies love the predictability of knowing what comes next. Number 8. Water play with cause and effect toys, learning physics through play. Babies are natural scientists, constantly experimenting to understand how the world works. Water play is one of the richest environments for this kind of learning because water behaves in fascinating, predictable ways that teach cause and effect, physics concepts, and problem solving. When your baby pours water from one container to another, they're learning about volume, gravity, and spatial relationships. When they squeeze a sponge and watch water drip out, they're understanding pressure and release. When they drop objects in water and see some float while others sink, they're beginning to grasp density and weight. All of this builds early physics reasoning and problem-solving skills that will serve them throughout their education. Imagine trying to understand concepts like volume, density, and force just by reading about them versus actually experiencing them through touch and experimentation. The hands-on experience creates much deeper understanding because your brain gets to test predictions, see results, and adjust your thinking. That's what water play does for babies. Their brain is forming hypotheses. If I tip this cup, what happens? And immediately getting feedback. That process of predict, test, observe is the foundation of scientific thinking. And it's happening naturally through play that requires no instruction from you. So the next time you need to occupy your baby for a while, set up a simple water play station. Fill a shallow tub or sink with a few inches of water and provide cups, spoons, sponges, floating toys, and objects that sink. Sit with them and let them experiment freely, pouring, squeezing, dropping, splashing. You can narrate what you see happening. The ball floats, the spoon sank, but don't try to teach lessons. Just let them explore. Bath time is also perfect for this kind of play. The mess is worth it because their brain is building critical thinking skills that will make math, science, and problem solving so much easier as they grow. Number 9, the follow the leader movement game, developing memory and imitation. Imitation is one of the most powerful learning tools babies have. When they watch you do something and then try to copy it, they're building neural pathways for memory, motor planning, and what's called theory of mind, the understanding that other people have thoughts and intentions they can learn from. The follow the leader movement game is a simple way to strengthen these skills. You make a movement, tap your knees, raise your arms, touch your nose, and your baby tries to copy you. Even if they can't match your movements perfectly yet, the act of trying to remember what you did and coordinate their body to do the same thing is building their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, focus, and decision-making. It's a lot like learning a dance routine. At first, you have to watch carefully, remember the sequence, and then tell your body how to move. With practice, the movements become automatic. But that initial process of observe, remember, execute is building important brain skills. That's what happens during imitation games. Your baby's brain is working hard to watch what you do, hold that information in memory long enough to act on it, and then coordinate their muscles to recreate the movement. All of this strengthens the neural networks that will later support following instructions, learning new skills, and self-control. So here's how you use this in real life. Sit facing your baby and make simple movements they can try to copy. Start with big, easy ones like clapping, patting your head, or raising your arms. As they get better at it, add slightly more complex sequences, tap your knees twice, then clap once. Make it fun and celebratory when they try, even if they don't get it exactly right. The effort is what matters, not perfection. You can also let them be the leader sometimes, and you copy their movements, which teaches them that their actions have influence and builds confidence. Play this game for just a few minutes several times a week, and you're giving their brain valuable practice in memory, coordination, and imitation. Number 10. Outdoor discovery walks nature's intelligence boost. Nature isn't just pretty scenery, it's one of the most powerful learning environments that exists for developing brains. When babies are outside, they're bombarded with multisensory information that you simply can't replicate indoors. They feel wind on their skin, hear birds and traffic and leaves rustling, see clouds and trees and moving people, smell grass and flowers and fresh air. All of this sensory richness accelerates brain development, builds attention span, and supports emotional regulation in ways that indoor activities can't match. Taking regular discovery walks, where you point to and name everything you see, gives your baby's brain an incredible gift of vocabulary, sensory input, and connection to the natural world. Imagine trying to learn about the world only through pictures in books. You'd gain knowledge, but you'd miss the feeling of rain, the sound of wind, the smell of flowers, the surprise of a bird flying overhead. That real-world, multisensory experience creates deeper learning because so many parts of the brain are activated at once. When you're outside pointing to a tree, your baby isn't just hearing the word tree, they're seeing its height and color and movement, feeling the breeze it creates, maybe hearing it rustle, possibly touching its bark. That rich, layered experience builds connections across multiple brain regions and creates much stronger memory and understanding than any flashcard or video ever could. So please, the next time you go outside with your baby, make it a discovery walk instead of just a walk. Slow down, point to everything and name it. Tree, bird flying, red car, flower, dog walking, cloud. Even if your baby seems too young to understand, their brain is absorbing it all. Let them touch grass, feel leaves, watch insects. Describe what you see. The wind is blowing the branches. The bird is singing. That dog is running fast. These simple narrations flood their brain with language tied to concrete sensory experiences, which is the most powerful form of learning that exists. Try to get outside daily if possible, even for just 10 minutes, because the developmental benefits are enormous.